Tate Matthews from Cherry Creek High School, senior outside linebacker, kind of like a hybrid linebacker, strong safety. So Tate is a player that I've known for a couple years. When I first met him, he was still more of a safety than he was of the outside linebacker hybrid, but he was kind of a strong safety. He and I worked a little bit together, helping him out with some safety technique and stuff. And then as he, and again, this is when he was an underclassman, and so as he started to get on the field, he was more so, I would say, in the area where he should be, and that is being an outside backer. So 6'2", 210, I mean, great size. You know, one of the things that bothers me, yeah, I love Tate. He's a great kid. Just one of the things that kind of bothers me about his recruiting process, or at least what he puts forth in that, is he's not really active on Twitter, which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing when you're looking at what he posts, but that's all he's got. So you're talking about March 3rd and then his film. And here's another thing. So Tate is a player that I was actually talking about to a college coach, and we wanted to get film. And this was like week 2 when I was talking to him about it. And one of the things that I brought up to him, that I asked him, was about his film. And he told me that he was waiting until he got to week 3 to put out film. And I immediately told him that's wrong. Don't do that. I mean, he's a senior, so it's not like he's going to get a shot at that next year. But I let him know, and everybody else who was standing around him, this was right after halftime of one of the games that they were in. So I had let him know, and everybody else who was standing around him, every game that you play should have its own highlight film. And then when you get to week 3, and after you finish week 3 or game 3, you should have a highlight film that is a highlight film of your highlight films, if that makes sense. So hypothetically speaking, what we should see here is a video for week 1, week 2, and week 3. We should also see some of his video from Mile High Prep, which that's a whole different story. But we should see film for week 1, week 2, week 3, and then we should see this film, and then we should see this film. So I told him he was behind, right? If you're waiting until week 3 to put out a highlight film, you're behind. Every game should have its own highlight film. When you start to do these compilation films, so once you get to like week 7 or 8, if you want to do a 4 through 7, 4 through 7, or a 4 through 6, or whatever. I mean, once you start to get there, it kind of varies when you want to break it up into thirds for the season. But when we look here, we should have more film, and we don't. So that was an issue, and I immediately was like, hey, that's a bad move. And I don't blame him. This is one of those things that a lot of you don't know. A lot of players don't know this. A lot of parents don't know this. There's a lot of people that think that that's the norm. And so that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But what we're going to do is we're going to watch 1 through 3, and then we're going to watch 4. All right, so coming over to Hudl to actually watch his film, because it was just grainy on Twitter. Looking at his film, it looks like he did go back and cut up film for each of those games. Okay, so game 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 through 3, and game 4. So we're going to watch 1 through 3, and then I actually kind of want to watch this Skyridge one, because I think he has some really good clips in there. So I like this screen. I like this title page. I think everybody should have a title page. Here's where I would kind of change it a bit, right? So we see Tate Matthews, so name, we have position, and then it says weeks 1 through 3. I would like to see name, position, Obviously, we have class here, so that's perfectly fine as long as it's on there. I'm not necessarily saying where it needs to go, but name, position, weeks 1 through 3 is fine. Graduating class, and then let's get height, weight, and a contact, be it email and or Twitter. Okay, I'm not big on necessarily saying your cell phone needs to be on here. We just live in a different time, and I don't think everybody needs to have your cell phone, because this can be seen by any and everybody. But email and Twitter is perfectly fine. Coaches can get a hold of you through those, especially as long as you stay up on them. But have a title page. This is really good. All right, good highlight, pre-snap. Great play. Tackle for loss. Helmet comes off. And he's 6'2", 210, I think. 210 or 205. Good. Blowing up a block, getting in there, getting a sack. Great job. Show me pre-snap. Highlight pre-snap. Good downhill player. Way to end that play, make that tackle. So, real quick, I do want to point this out just a little bit, okay? And this is why it's important for you to go through your film. Oops, my bad. But this is why it's important for you to go through your film. Because here, all right, we have one of 3 options in that circle. I'm not counting the player where we can only see the helmet in the circle, so I'm sure it's not you. I'm sure he's not the one that's in a 3-point. So, but at the same time, he could be. Right? Or he could be sitting as an inside backer right here. I'm almost positive he's the one standing on the edge, but this is where we could use an arrow rather than a circle. But again, I would say it's a little nitpicky, but at the same time, just you want to make sure you're easy to identify, right? So when it gets here, I don't want to guess, because now I'm looking at 3 and seeing which one makes the play, and now I know which one you are. Again, I'm pretty sure I know who he is already, but I wanted to point that out. Get in there and make another tackle behind the line of scrimmage. I like that. Pre-snap, pre-snap, pre-snap. See, I don't know where you are, so we need to know pre-snap that you're lined up all the way out there. But that was a great job at jamming the 2. Oh, I like that. I like that block destruction there. He's got a lot of strength, and Tate's a dude, right? I know him. I've known him for a while. Tate's a dude. Good speed coming off the edge, pressure, destroy a block, get into the backfield, create a lot of pressure. That's great. Keep that pocket, keep that quarterback from being able to roll out. Okay, apexed here. Straight down the line. I like that, all right? You read that, you're coming from outside in and straight down the line there. So I kind of know who you are, but pre-snap, okay? We want to know pre-snap. You're not in charge of the camera, so I don't really know what it was that you did to make that play. That's kind of unfortunate. Not your fault, but where are you? There you go, 11. Good job. Good job on. So one thing to note about that play, that's very important, that a lot of people don't do this. A lot of kids think that if the ball doesn't come their way or if they don't make a tackle, that they shouldn't put the play on film. Understand, Tate blew this up by getting here and putting that blocker in a position to where now Tate has this outside leverage. I mean, he's able to chase this down. He's not getting blocked. It's him versus this running back. Running back tries to cut back inside, and guess who's there? Help. And so that tackle gets made back here because Tate was able to seal the edge. I mean, he was basically able to threaten the edge. I'm not going to necessarily say it was sealed off here, because it could be if this is a speedier back, he could essentially outrun him. But he got there with so much power and created such an issue that it forced the running back to cut back towards help. And that's a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Great job. Outstanding. Pre-snap. I would like to see it pre-snap. Great job coming in there and laying the wood. I'm almost positive this is you here. Awesome. Block destruction. So we do get a lot of those from him. A lot of block destruction plays. See, pre-snap. I want to see where you are. Alignment assignment. All right. I want to see where you are. I want to see your stance start. But I like what we see out of that one. So we're going to go straight to the Skyridge film. I really like this. I think Tate is an underrated player. Tate Matthews is a D1 player, and he's so underrated. I think he could be an FBS sleeper. I think he is an FCS stud next year if he goes. All right, so same title page, but now we have week 4. So we see him. Got the swaggy armbands and everything. Got to be a dude. Great first play here. Pick 6, Tate. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good work. Get the celly. All right, let's go. Okay, we could have already cut that. So pre-snap. I know this is you, but I'll need to see you pre-snap. Great job. Tackle behind the line. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start to pick you out beforehand. Y'all wearing them all blacks. That one was a little tricky. Fly route, angle, like it. Tackle behind the line. And this is a team from Utah that they're playing. Skyridge, talented team out of Utah. Down the line, big hitter. Great job. All right. So I think what we've seen out of Tate, I think it's kind of obvious that, again, Tate's a dude. He's just under the radar, and I think a lot of that has more to do with he doesn't know how to put himself above the radar and just kind of expects to, to be seen, which he is getting recruited. I'm pretty sure there are some coaches that are looking at him, if I'm not mistaken. But again, he's not really active on Twitter, so that's not helping his cause. I mean, he posts. Luckily, he's got, teammates and other people. He is tagging folks on here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna hit up my guy and let him know that I really think that this is one that you need to look at. Now, when it comes to a good takeaway, something to add to this film that I don't see on here is I'm able to see side-to-side accelerations to make tackles, but I'm not seeing as much in coverage as I would like to see. And when you play a position like that, when you're an outside backer that sometimes has that hybrid, nickel Sam, a nickel Sam as Coach Larry Kerr likes to call it. If you are playing as that guy, usually that's a smaller player because they're a nickel, but when you're more of the star hybrid linebacker, strong safety, you're expected to be able to cover. And that's something that we want to see. I know that he can do it. It's just, can we get it on film? A lot of that has to do with scheme, whether or not he's going to be in that situation to do that. That's not necessarily on him. But if you have those plays in your film that you haven't added to your highlights, add them, right? Add them. Show us what you look like in coverage. Now, in my personal opinion, and I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible for Tate, because Tate is my guy. That's my dude, man. Like, I respect Tate. I like that kid a lot. So what I think his film does is exactly what it's supposed to. 6'2", 210, not 205, 6'2", 210, with a 3.1 GPA. As long as all of this stuff is legit, right? We want to see you in person. We want to see you in person. We want to get you out to a camp. We definitely want to get you to a game. Hopefully, if you go to a game, if you're going to go to one, hit up the coaches, let them know. Get seen, have a conversation. Definitely want to see you in camp, though, to see how you move more in a coverage situation. See what your side-to-side coverage is like. See if you can backpedal. See how you we can see some of your zone drops, but see how you play in coverage a bit, because that could open up where you could go. Some colleges might move you a little bit further inside and just have you chasing down running backs, depending on what they see from their opponents. Other colleges might want you to be able to drop back in coverage and roll to a strong safety, roll to a robber, go sit over if there's a bunch, or if you're looking at a weird trip situation and they want to put you over that number 2 receiver, and if you're going to be able to run with them or not, or if you can go flats, or if you can go hook curl, if you can go hook curl to flat, right? That opens up a little bit more. So yeah, Tate Matthews, man, I think this kid's a baller. Great film, great film. I just wish that we didn't have to wait till week 3 to get film from you, because this is stuff that should have been getting pushed out sooner rather than later, but better late than never. But if you are an underclassman, just remember, every time you play a game, there needs to be a film cut up for it. Yep.